Football, the beautiful game, where dreams are made and fortunes are lost. Over the past 2 decades, clubs have spent eye-watering sums of money on players, hoping they'd be the next big thing. Instead, what they got were flop stories that made headlines both on and off the pitch. From injury nightmares to wild off-field scandals, these are the top 10 football flops of the past 20 years, with a bonus story that's both tragic and unforgettable. Buckle up, this is going to be a ride. 10. Antoine Griezmann, the man who didn't fit the Barcelona puzzle. When Barcelona paid 120 million euros to sign Antoine Griezmann from Atletico Madrid in 2019, they thought they were getting a world-class forward who could help ease the burden on Lionel Messi. But instead, they got a player who looked confused and out of place. On the pitch, Griezmann struggled to find his role. Barcelona often played him out of position on the left wing, limiting his ability to influence the game. His chemistry with Messi was virtually non-existent, and he frequently looked isolated during matches. His goal tally was underwhelming, and he often failed to deliver in crucial moments. Off the pitch, things were equally problematic. Reports emerged that Griezmann and Messi had little to no relationship, with some suggesting that the two barely spoke. Griezmann's former agent publicly criticized Messi, claiming that the Argentine's dominance made it difficult for others to succeed at the club. By 2021, Barcelona had seen enough and loaned Griezmann back to Atletico, marking one of the most expensive mistakes in their history. 9. Ángel Di María, from Champions League glory to Old Trafford misery. In 2014, Manchester United broke the British transfer record by signing Ángel Di María for 75 million euros. Fresh off winning the Champions League with Real Madrid, Di María was supposed to bring flair, speed, and creativity to United's struggling attack. But things went wrong almost immediately. On the pitch, Di María started strong, with memorable performances early in the season, but as the months went on, his form dipped drastically. He became inconsistent, often losing possession or making poor decisions in key moments. Manager Louis van Gaal's rigid tactical approach didn't help either, as Di María felt restricted and unable to play his natural game. Off the pitch, disaster struck when Di Maria's house was burgled during his first season, leaving his family traumatized. The incident reportedly made him desperate to leave England. By the end of the season, he had fallen out with Van Gaal and was benched for several key matches. Di María later admitted that he never wanted to join United in the first place. He left after just 1 season, signing for PSG, where he thrived again. His brief stint at Old Trafford remains a cautionary tale of what happens when a club and a player just don't click. 8. Andriy Shevchenko, the AC Milan legend who got lost in London. In the early 2000s, Andriy Shevchenko was one of the most feared strikers in the world. At AC Milan, he won the Ballon d'Or and scored over 170 goals, cementing himself as a club legend. So when Chelsea signed him for 43 million euros in 2006, it seemed like a dream move. But the reality was far from it. On the pitch, Shevchenko struggled to adapt to the physicality and speed of the Premier League. His first touch deserted him, and his once clinical finishing became inconsistent. He scored just 9 Premier League goals in 2 seasons, a shocking return for a player of his caliber. But Sheva's decline wasn't just about form. Injuries played a major role, robbing him of the pace and sharpness that made him lethal in Italy. Off the pitch, things weren't much better. His family reportedly struggled to settle in London, and Shevchenko himself admitted that he felt homesick. There were also rumors of tensions within the Chelsea dressing room, as some players resented owner Roman Abramovich's heavy involvement in the signing. Shevchenko was viewed as Abramovich's personal project, which didn't sit well with then-manager Jose Mourinho. By 2008, Shevchenko was loaned back to AC Milan, but his time in England remains a major blot on his illustrious career. 7. Harry Maguire, the £80 million meme. When Manchester United signed Harry Maguire from Leicester City in 2019 for £80 million, they thought they were getting a defensive titan. What they got was a magnet for internet memes and a lightning rod for criticism. On the pitch, Maguire's performances were erratic. At times, he displayed the composure and aerial dominance United had paid for, but more often than not, he was caught out of position, made clumsy errors, or turned slower than a double-decker bus. His mistakes, including own goals and poor clearances, became viral moments on social media. One of the most infamous instances was when he clashed heads with teammate Luke Shaw during a match, causing confusion among their own defense. Off the pitch, things spiraled further when Maguire was arrested in Greece during a holiday in 2020 after a bar fight. He was accused of assaulting police officers and allegedly tried to bribe them. Although Maguire denied the charges, the damage to his reputation had already been done. United fans began questioning whether the club had massively overpaid for him. Despite his struggles, Maguire has managed solid performances for England, but his time at United remains a case of unrealized expectations. 6. Joao Félix, Atletico's golden boy who just didn't fit. In 2019, Atletico Madrid broke their transfer record and paid 126 million euros for a 19-year-old sensation named Joao Félix. The idea was simple: bring in a creative genius to take them to the next level. But what they didn't account for was that Félix's flair and artistic touch didn't exactly fit Diego Simeone's rigid defense-first tactics. On the pitch, Félix had moments of magic. His dribbles, vision, and goals reminded fans why he was compared to Cristiano Ronaldo. But those moments were few and far between. The biggest issue? Simeone's system prioritized defensive responsibilities and tactical discipline over creativity. Félix often looked frustrated and out of place, unable to express himself fully. Off the pitch, Félix reportedly struggled with homesickness and the pressure of living up to his enormous price tag. He admitted in an interview that adjusting to Simeone's methods was like learning a new language. Despite flashes of brilliance, he never quite mastered that language. 5. Fernando Torres, Liverpool's legend, Chelsea's regret. Fernando Torres was a hero at Liverpool, the player who could single-handedly change a game with his blistering pace and clinical finishing. So when Chelsea paid £50 million to sign him in January 2011, it seemed like a no-brainer. But what followed was one of the most infamous declines in Premier League history. On the pitch, Torres struggled to find the back of the net. His confidence was shattered, and he became a meme after missing a sitter against Manchester United. In 172 appearances for Chelsea, he managed just 45 goals, a far cry from his prolific days at Anfield. But his struggles weren't just physical, they were mental. Torres later admitted that he sought therapy during his time at Chelsea, saying, "I felt like I had forgotten how to play football." Off the pitch, the pressure of living up to his massive price tag took its toll. He was often criticized by the media and fans, and rumors of dressing room tensions didn't help. But despite his overall disappointing spell at Chelsea, Torres did have his moments. His most memorable contribution came in the 2012 Champions League semi-final against Barcelona, where he scored a crucial goal to send Chelsea to the final. It was a brief redemption in an otherwise forgettable chapter of his career. Alexis Sánchez, from Arsenal, hero to United's expensive benchwarmer. When Manchester United signed Alexis Sánchez in January 2018, they thought they had pulled off a major coup by snatching him away from rivals Manchester City. The piano unveiling video was iconic, and United fans were dreaming of the Chilean replicating his Arsenal form. But instead of goals and assists, they got disappointment and drama. On the pitch, Sánchez struggled to find his rhythm. His explosive pace and relentless pressing, key traits at Arsenal, had seemingly disappeared overnight. In 45 appearances for United, he managed just 5 goals, a shocking return for a player earning over £500,000 a week. But it wasn't just his lack of goals that frustrated fans. His poor decision-making and constant giveaways made him a liability. Off the pitch, things weren't much better. Reports suggested that Sánchez had trouble connecting with his teammates and often isolated himself during training. One insider claimed that he spent more time complaining about his role than trying to improve it. And then there were his dogs, Adam and Humber, who seemed to get more attention on his Instagram than his performances did on the field. By 2019, United had seen enough and loaned him to Inter Milan, where he showed flashes of his old self, but never fully regained his form. 3. Kaka, the legend lost in Madrid's shuffle. Kaka's move to Real Madrid in 2009 should have been the perfect match. The Brazilian playmaker, who had won the Ballon d'Or in 2007, was expected to lead Real's Galactico 2.0 era alongside Cristiano Ronaldo. But what followed was 4 years of injuries, disappointment, and unfulfilled potential. On the pitch, Kaka struggled to adapt to Real Madrid's high-intensity playing style. His once explosive pace was hampered by chronic knee injuries that limited his ability to drive forward and create chances. When Jose Mourinho arrived as manager in 2010, Kaka found himself benched more often than not, with Mesut Ozil taking his place as the team's main playmaker. Off the pitch, Kaka's quiet and religious lifestyle clashed with the flashy, high-pressure environment of Madrid. While other players enjoyed the city's nightlife, Kaka kept to himself, often posting Bible verses on social media. Fans joked that he prayed more than he played. Even Mourinho admitted that Kaka was a fantastic person, but his body simply couldn't keep up. When Kaka finally left Madrid in 2013 to return to AC Milan, fans were left wondering what could have been if injuries hadn't robbed him of his prime years. Second, Eden Hazard, Real Madrid's worst snack investment. When Real Madrid signed Eden Hazard for 100 million euros in 2019, they thought they were getting a player who could single-handedly destroy defenses, just like he did at Chelsea. Instead, they got a player who could barely stay on the pitch, and when he did, he looked like a shadow of his former self. The problems began before he even played his first competitive game. Hazard showed up to preseason 7 kilograms overweight, which didn't sit well with Madrid's demanding fans and media. One Spanish newspaper described him as a player who prefers hamburgers over hard work. And they weren't wrong. Hazard's fitness issues quickly led to a series of injuries. Ankle fractures, hamstring tears, and muscle strains that kept him sidelined for most of his first 2 seasons. In total, Hazard missed over 70 games due to injury. Off the pitch, Hazard's carefree attitude became a topic of criticism. His laid-back personality, which was charming at Chelsea, was seen as laziness in Madrid. The final nail in the coffin came during the 2021 Champions League semi-final, when Real Madrid were eliminated by Hazard's former club, Chelsea. Cameras caught him laughing and joking with his former teammates immediately after the game, a moment that enraged Madrid fans. By the end of his 4th season, Hazard had scored just 7 La Liga goals, leading many to dub him the worst big-money signing in the club's history. Some flops are bad, but this was a catastrophe, the worst of the worst. Number 1 is Philippe Coutinho, Barcelona's $160 million gamble gone wrong. When Barcelona signed Coutinho for 160 million euros in 2018, they weren't just buying a player, they were buying hope. Hope that he'd fill the void left by Neymar. But on the pitch, Coutinho looked more like a confused tourist than a world-class playmaker. The pressure got to him. At Anfield, Coutinho was the maestro, dictating the tempo and producing moments of magic. But at Barcelona, he was just another cog in the Messi-centric machine. Playing out of position on the left wing, or too deep in midfield, Coutinho looked lost. He lacked the freedom to roam and create, and his once lethal long-range shots suddenly vanished. By the time fans started booing him, it was clear the dream had become a nightmare. Off the pitch, Coutinho's isolation became a major issue. Reports surfaced that he missed the camaraderie at Liverpool, especially his friendship with Roberto Firmino, and he struggled to fit into Barcelona's culture. But the biggest humiliation came when Bayern Munich loaned him. In the infamous 8-2 Champions League quarterfinal thrashing of Barcelona, Coutinho came off the bench to score 2 goals and an assist against his parent club. It was the ultimate betrayal and proof that Barcelona's 160 million euro gamble had backfired spectacularly. +1. Adriano, the emperor who lost his crown. Adriano was supposed to be Brazil's next great striker, a powerhouse with a rocket of a left foot and the ability to bully defenders. At Inter Milan, he was nicknamed the Emperor, and for a while it seemed like he would rule world football, but his reign was tragically short-lived. On the pitch, Adriano was unplayable at his best, scoring screamers and leading Inter to multiple trophies. But after the sudden death of his father in 2004, everything changed. Adriano struggled with depression and turned to alcohol to cope. His fitness declined rapidly, and his performances suffered as a result. He went from being the most feared striker in Serie A to an inconsistent and unreliable player. Off the pitch, Adriano's partying lifestyle became infamous. He was often seen at nightclubs and reportedly missed training sessions after nights of heavy drinking. Inter tried to help him, but Adriano admitted that he had lost his love for football. By the time he left Europe, he was a shadow of the player he once was. His story remains one of the most heartbreaking cases of wasted potential in football history. And there you have it, football's biggest flops of the past 2 decades. Some broke records, others broke hearts, but all of them made history in their own way. Which one do you think was the most disappointing? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more football content.